Hello, my name is Hersh,
And I'm Quay.
and this is the HERshyt show. A little bit about it, and you're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you'll probably cuss at me, but that's all right. I just want to bring to you the realization of what's really going on in this world that a lot of people are afraid to speak on. Enjoy. Welcome to this week's The HERshyt show, where I have the honor of having the owner and founder and creator of Hex and Honey, all the way
Yes.
from Virginia, Miss
Yes.
Felicia. How are you today?
Hey, Hersh. I'm good. How are you?
I am peachy and excited about your products at the same time.
I'm so
So,
grateful.
Hex and Honey, how did it start?
So, Hex and Honey started really as a small project at home many years ago. I have three children. They all were plagued with eczema. I have an autoimmune disease. I had psoriasis. And I started to research holistic views on medications and foods and skincare products and beauty products. And I started to kind of wrap my mind around the chemicals involved in making your favorite eyeshadow, perfume, lotion. I started to understand how things are scented, what the chemical values on unrefined this or that is.
Mm,
And I started to understand that there's a science to there are two types of products. There are products that are cost savvy and easy to make,
yeah,
and then there are products that are organic and holistic and meant to heal.
okay.
And what happens is, and as a consumer, I understood too that we get wrapped up in all types of things like packaging and the razzle dazzle and the sales and the holiday shopping of it all. And I realized that once I saw that what I was making was beneficial to my whole entire family. I can't tell you the last time that we bought lotion from the store, hair care products, things of that nature. I started to realize that it was good for us.
Yeah.
And I found joy in creating these things. I've always been a very creative person, and I found a lot of joy in creating. And I said, I feel like, Felicia, everybody needs to try this. I would make things for gift baskets and gifts for people for occasions, etc. My feedback was always positive. My children were like very small at the time. So now that my children are a little older, I have a little more time because they're a little more self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And I just woke up one morning on a whim and decided to get my LLC. We're now in the process of trademarking. Our company is going to probably by the end of the week be available for purchase through Amazon.
I saw that on
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah,
Yes.
that was a. I mean, this year has for me personally, and definitely for my company, has been a year of shooting your shot. I'll actually give you a little exclusive information.
Uh-oh.
I have a meeting this week for product placements. I hadn't discussed that with anybody yet online, but I do have a meeting also for product placement with a store that is local to my area.
That is
And
awesome.
I've been focusing on things like product placement. Markets are great depending on certain things like location, the weather, etc.
Yeah.
And so the few markets I've done well at, but I really want to focus on becoming a brand and a staple. There are a few brands that I'm not going to mention because this is about me that
Yeah.
I do trust and I'll purchase on occasion, and I want to be one of those brands for
Okay.
people. And so that is really the driving force behind my company is just holistic care. You can feel good about what you're using. All of my stuff is ethically sourced. I go through great pains to make sure of that. That means that the people that are creating the ingredients that go into your product are being properly compensated. We're not taking anything that isn't, for us to take. I also have several companies that I purchase from that benefit. I have one particular company I'd like to shout out, and that's Fairtail. I get my body butter from them, and I love this company. They support women in Ghana and their children, and
Oh,
they have an entire community of people that are sustained by the purchase of the shea butter.
so that's
Um,
Fairtail.
yes, Fairtail Ghana. You can look them up. I follow them on Facebook. They're available on Facebook and Instagram. And I love that company. I like to do business with companies that have good ethics.
Yes.
I like to do business with companies that thoroughly research what it is that they're doing, and I don't have to question the ingredients that I'm purchasing from this company. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And I mean, one day, long term, will we be producing our own ingredients? Literally, will we be in Ghana? Will we, be in Hawaii? Maybe. Who knows? But in the meantime, I want to make sure that the dollars that I'm trickling down are going to the right places. That's very important to me.
That is admirable.
Yeah, and I think that when you feel good about the things that you're using, like when you really think about it, um, when you start to look up ingredients and you wonder what X, Y, and Z is, anytime you find yourself Googling things, because that was me at one point,
Yeah.
it's like, mm, you know, the price point is great, the packaging looks awesome, but the contents are lackluster.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've all been there. I've shopped big box. So it's not like I wasn't there at one point. But I feel like as a company, we deserve to be on the same shelf that those other companies are on from an ethical standpoint.
Yes, indeed. And I applaud you for that because a lot of organizations do not do their research. And a lot of creators that we even follow, they're not doing their research. They're just purchasing their products that they need to create whatever they're creating. So
That's right.
I commend you
That's right. And I
wholeheartedly.
started that way. That was part of at the very beginning when I decided that I was going to put a name on this and I was going to trademark and LLC my name, and the growth has been crazy. I will say that like things like social media, they're kind of a job in themselves once you get that train going on its track.
Yes, yes, it is.
And so I've really tried to learn how to find balance in life because I do still have a home life, and this is my Hex and Honey is my full-time gig at this point. And so I'm a mom and I have kids, and particularly speaking to my kids, like even wrangling them in and showing them the ins and outs of building a business and
Yeah.
what works and doesn't work. I think that we discussed a few days ago via Facebook a product that I've messaged you about, and I was like, hey, I got another message about a product that you purchased. I'm thinking it might be a problem. I know you don't want to open your box. Please check this because my
So for
my
purposes of the
mantra,
interview, this is the box that she's speaking of. So I
yeah,
have been waiting
yeah.
for the
And I
whole
hated to
group.
make you open it. I did, but I could. It bothered me. I'm a one woman show, so here's the thing. I'm a one woman show, and there are benefits and drawbacks to that. At this point, I'm a new company, a new small business, a woman of color, woman owned business, and I'm a one woman show, meaning that the great thing about it is I have hands on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from the top to the bottom. I make your product, I pack your product, I ship your product, I talk to you, I built the website you ordered it on, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one day maybe we'll expand and I'll be in the position to hire people, but that ethical, that fundamental thing that I have for my company will never change. That I really want people that come into my company at some point to be as passionate about the things that I'm talking about. So when I messaged you, I said, it's just so crazy. Before I messaged you, I said to myself, it's so crazy because she just invited me to be on her podcast. And
I absolutely.
But I feel like it'd be better to I'm just a solution based person. Even if it hadn't melted and you just weren't happy with it, that little moisture bar, for people that may not know, I've recently released some skincare trio on my website, and one part of that trio is a moisture bar, and it's made out of unrefined shea butter, and it's got some hibiscus in it and some cocoa butter in it. And long story short, it didn't stand a chance against the 90-degree Texas weather. Now it's October. I don't control the weather, but my message is that I can make a better product. I can rectify the situation. And I can't stand the idea of an unhappy customer, even though I know inevitably as a business owner,
you're gonna have. Yeah, but I admired the fact that, because my phone dinged or whatever, and I looked at it and I was like, well, Texas is always melting, so that's that's a given, right? And then you were very adamant about replacing, or me opening the box, and I was like, I can't. I'm already like a little kid on Christmas right now.
Right.
I can't open it until the team comes. So, but I didn't want a replacement, right? Because I understand that things are going to happen. I'm not the type of customer that gets like irate or,
And I've never had, to be honest, I've never had that type of customer. But I think there's a reason for that also. I mean, 90% of the
business, because you're a communicator and you reached out so fast just based off of what somebody in Texas went through. I'm in Georgia. It's cold right now.
And I didn't even realize, I really didn't. You were the second moisture bar that I had shipped out. Coincidentally, I said to myself, like, I do not want another moisture bar to go to somebody and it falls through. So fingers crossed, if you didn't open the box, that it's still intact. If it isn't, hopefully there's another order and I'll sneak something in there for you regardless.
It's not open. It's not open.
And so I'm a stickler for not perfection, but evolving. And I mean, I wish, I know I'm here to talk about Hex and Honey, but if I could just touch for a second on business ownership and brand and building your brand. And I don't have all of the answers because I'm still new at this. Yeah. But I survived my first year of business, which is amazing to me. And I think that it's important for people to understand that you're going to grow and evolve and make a series of minor mistakes along the way if you work hard to do things the right way. Yes. Okay, you can't cut corners, unfortunately, and expect better results. Exactly. You have to give 110%. And that goes into growing your social media, especially if you're growing social media for a brand. I think that's what a lot of people get confused about as well. A lot of people get on and they start out promoting a brand or their wares, their company, what it is they're creating, and they get caught into the numbers on Facebook and wanting to have bonus performances, etc.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that has been
So here's the thing. I just came back. I'm actually in the process of rebuilding my Facebook page because I took the summer off.
But so, it also doesn't grow overnight. And that's what I think.
Overnight. And you know another thing, you have to have genuine interactions with people. You cannot 90% of my business right now, knock on wood, that we have product placement in this shop later this week. And things go the way that I want them to go there. But 90% of my business really is from Facebook. Yeah. And so I am very serious about my representation as a person in a business. And I've been saying for a long time, because social media is a part-time job at the very least.
Yes,
It
it
would
is.
be so nice to have somebody to do social media for me at this point, because we're at a pace now that we're back on social media. We're really growing number wise. So it'll be good to have that backup. But at the same time, I remind myself almost daily, I'm not here for the numbers on Facebook. I'm growing a brand. And you can have numbers on Facebook all day. But if you're growing a brand, that won't, like, those numbers on Facebook, they don't translate over to website traffic unless you're growing your brand properly.
Exactly. And even with like podcasts and other podcasts
Exactly.
and stuff like that,
Exactly.
there's the majority of the people that listen to the reels I put up, or to something like, something that I put up video wise or meme wise or whatever, I have the very small team that I know is jumping on. That's you, that's Lavender Boutique, that's, I know who's going to come on and engage, right?
Hmm.
But 90 something percent, if you go to the professional dashboard, it's going to
And
be
look at your
non-followers.
non-followers versus followers, and you'll see I have that often where, my interactions are 72% of my interactions are non-followers.
Yeah,
And so what
I
that
don't get
equates
mad.
to.
That you can't get mad at that. That's the part that gets me. A lot of people want the numbers, but they don't actually engage with the personnel that they're trying to reach.
And you have to also, I mean, just knowing your lane is important, because as a business owner, like, I would, my products for men and women of all ages
Hmm.
and groups? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there a particular lane in pursuit of things like skincare products, body care products, et cetera, et cetera? A
Women.
100% women of a certain age. And the way social media is set up, it is absolutely a great tool to build your brand and company. But building your brand has to be more important to you than seeing a small payout from Facebook for numbers or being invited to earn a bonus. I feel like, it just kind of depends on. Now, if your content is stuff that people are going to find often on Facebook, then by all means expand, and you can do more than one thing at one time when it comes to that. But people aren't, in my case, people aren't coming to Facebook for skincare,
Yeah.
right? They're just on Facebook, right? Podcasts, music, movies, reviews, etc. Facebook's a great place for. Great to expand as far as all your different avenues. My challenge has been growing organically as a company,
Yeah.
and inciting genuine interest in what I'm doing differently from the companies people are already using.
So my question to you is, how did you come up with Hex and Honey?
Well, that's a great question, Hersh. I'm glad that you asked. So, Hex and Honey derived a long, long time ago, maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, when I was first brainstorming about the idea of having this business. Hex and Honey was a lot of things before it was an apothecary business.
Okay.
Okay, because I've had quite a few passions in my life, to be honest. Hex and Honey is a play on the bee and the hexagon and the magic of what they do.
Hmm.
I'm very, very, very much in love with bees because they provide a very harmonious part of the equation when it comes to life on earth. Like, if you really study the science of bees and the medicinal benefits of honey and
Yeah.
honeycomb, you'll see that they're very, very they should be loved way more than they are. You know,
Yeah. And a lot of
um,
people are taking them out. So
and
there's
so
been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, I get it. It's a bug. But I think that if you learned your
And
bugs,
and they sting.
they do sting. They do, but they're not aggressive. Bees,
No.
traditional bees, there are some more aggressive forms of bees. I like the honeybee personally. Honeybees are really, really great at sustaining the environment, everywhere from the ecosystem on down to what they produce and the benefits to us.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good job to be friends with the bees, the honeybees. I do use honey, a touch of honey in every product.
Okay.
The company that I purchased my honey from, they own actuaries, which are a little different from just traditional beekeeping in terms of like hives. They produce like more natural state of living
Okay.
for the bees, and I love the program that they have. And so, the hope is at some point to find a bee actuary to donate, proceeds to at some point. And that's
So
where, long story short, that's where the name Hex and Honey comes from.
so pretty much every one of your products is about, so from what I'm gathering from the interview, just listening to you, you have
Hmm.
three wonderful children. You are a
Yeah.
mother. You
Yes.
are building a brand. You're not
Yes.
trying to do anything, you are doing. So I want you to change that tone.
Yeah.
I want you to
Thank
change
you.
that words. You
Thank you.
are going to be on the shelves in the near future. You
Yes.
are building your Amazon, right? Your
I
e-commerce
am.
store. You already have a Shopify, which
And
I ordered.
that's hexandhoney.myshopify.com.
Yes. And you can
Mm-hmm.
also reach out to her on email, but you are giving back to those ethically and morally doing things for other people and for society and for communities, and
Yes.
you're
Yes.
actually doing your research based
Yes.
on quality, not quantity, pure quality. And I saw the little clip that you did about how you actually.
By hand. I'm not even to the point yet, guys. Like, I want to say, please support me. It's just me and my body butters over here trying to make it. I'm not even to the point yet where I can like afford a big, nice, expensive mixer or commercial size stuff where I can mass produce.
Yeah.
I'm just very, very, very passionate about what it is that I do. And I have very specific recipes and ways of doing things. And I hope, like, if my company to when my company continues to grow, not if, as it
When.
continues to grow, I'm hoping to be a source of empowerment for people that are wanting to have either an ethical company to buy from, to work for, etc., etc. It's much bigger than me. I think that I'm listen, I have companies that I followed for quite some time and they make body butters, and I'm not gonna I order from small businesses at least once or twice a week. That's another thing that I do. I firmly believe that there is space for everybody here. We're all trying to figure it out, especially shout out, especially to my women-owned companies.
Yes.
My social media family, in terms of my business pages and whatnot, they're like my second family. Sometimes the first people I speak to in the morning, because who else in my house is getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to run this business? Nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I'm determined as a woman and as a mother and as a consumer myself to produce something. Will every product work? Will every product everyone love? Will every product stay? No. I've been doing this formally in the business sense for a little over a year now, and there are products that didn't make it. There are
Yeah.
products that just released. It's evolving. It's what sticks and what doesn't. But I can tell you that because of the integrity of my products, my packaging, and the system that I use to make sure that what I'm sending to people really is top notch. I've not had a formal complaint about anything because I think really it's because my product is just bomb. I don't know how else to say that.
I know that's right. It's the
You know what I
look, that's
mean?
the shoulders off.
I just really do. Like I feel like my body butter rivals anything I've ever bought from a store.
But it's not just body butter that you do, though, right?
It's
You
not
keep
just
talking
body
about the.
butter that I do. We do body oil, we do beard oil, we do skincare, we do bath soaks, ritual bath soaks. I have candles, I have wax melts, I have all of those things.
And muscle.
Muscle rub, which the muscle rub is kind of special. The muscle rub was my first fully medicinal mixture tincture that I made. And I studied extra hard to make that. And I stand behind it because so many people that have used it so far have told me that it's better than like their Bengay and Icy Hot. And it's also organic. The essential oils, I use blue tansy, blue yarrow, which if you're familiar with your essential oils, you know are great for inflammation and muscle aches. Top of the line, stuff outside of prescription medications that you can use if you're into holistic healing. And I use eucalyptus and tea tree oil and a little bit of peppermint for that good burn. And some clove oil in there, and then my unrefined shea butter is definitely the highlight of in terms of ingredients. I use that in several things as well. It's unrefined, it's raw. You get every piece of nutrient in there for your use, and everything is safe to use. I'm not putting crazy chemicals in any of my stuff. My rose hydrosol is 100% rose hydrosol. The essential oils I use are all organic in that. So you could just feel good about what it is that you're using. Other than having allergies to like chamomile or rose,
That's
which
what I was just about to say.
yeah, well,
Somebody may have a.
you know before you purchase it. Like if you're allergic to oatmeal, chamomile, I list all of my ingredients on my website. We just changed over our packaging, so we have more formal labels and stuff like that. And once you open your box, you'll see that. And you actually, I think, are one of the first orders to get my newer packaging. So we changed up a little bit about the way that we package some stuff. So, you'll be the first voice as far as like how some of that stuff works out for you. So I'm totally excited.
I'm excited to open it, and I get to open it later on this week because we do have a studio setup session. So, but I keep looking at this box like a little kid on Christmas. I'm like, I just want to open it.
And speaking of Christmas, segue into that. We're going to be doing special packaging for Christmas. We're bundling some of our more popular items on our website. And so we'll have that available to purchase as a gift set.
Okay.
Some of those things. And that'll reduce cost to you, but it'll also be great because you'll get to try more than one product at one time. And so I would encourage everybody watching this to start getting your Christmas orders in early November, mid-November. That way we can get
Yeah,
it.
because it's gonna be crazy, and her Amazon will be up before
My
then.
Amazon will be up and ready to go. And honestly, like fingers crossed. I mean, if things get crazy and the orders just come rushing in, I'm here. I do have my two daughters that help me pack orders once in a while. So that's good. But I want to be an elf this Christmas. I'm trying to live in this office and do my thing. And I'm looking forward I have seasonal scents listed on the website now for both fall. And we have some Christmas ones already listed. We have some new Christmas scents that are launching this coming weekend. That are going to be exclusive to those gift sets that I just mentioned. And so I just started my trademarking. We've got
And
product placement later this week. It's a
let me
lot
let me
going on.
let me stop you right there. People think that trademarking is easy.
It's not.
Trademarking is
Oh,
not
it's not. Unless you have a lawyer to do it, right? I'm a
exactly.
one-woman show. So even with the Amazon, you know, Amazon has like some built-in stuff that can kind of help you along the way. But it's funny, I was telling my friend earlier this morning, I was chatting with her, and I said, you know what? So much of what I learned is just through, I, I've been so unafraid to shoot my shot this year that, and I'm just gonna like be the first. I'm not the first to say it, but just another person to say it. You do not need to wait until you have all your ducks in a row. Don't wait till you have everything figured out. It doesn't need to look a certain way. Girl, if I showed you what my packaging looked like a year ago, we would be laughing. Okay. I was proud of my little labels I made, but no, that wasn't it. Don't be afraid to grow. I am learning along the way. I was telling my friend earlier this morning that sometimes like I'll get into something and I'm learning the process of something, and then I see a piece of information that's new to me, and it's kind of like, how everybody talks about red flags. It's kind of like a red flag. Oh, here's something I need to go back and learn before I continue what I'm doing here. So I try to approach it as just let's not cut corners. Let's be very thorough, because that's a really integral part, an important part of the recipe for success as far as
So
I'm concerned.
when you're mailing out customers boxes, are you using like the stamps.com or are you
No, I have all of my shipping is set up through Shopify,
okay?
which is one of the reasons why I love to utilize Shopify. I extend it out to Amazon, and I'm going to give it a good 6 months to see if Shopify for me has been a good source of learning, and it just kind of makes it really easy to get what I need to get out to people. It takes a lot of the guesswork out.
Okay.
Um,
So it's an
and
easy platform or a simpler platform.
I would say maybe not, I wouldn't call it simple. It's just one of those things that you have to learn first, and then you have to
Yeah.
be actively involved in, handling it. And so initially it was kind of intimidating because there are parts of that you have to build on your own, and you have to put things where they need to go and figure this and that out.
It's
But there's
tedious.
also a
Everything is going to
system,
be tedious, but you have to have the patience and the understanding that nothing is going to
right?
happen overnight.
And just be consistent also. Just be consistent. Promote, like when you have your web, like I want to own my own domain, but another website or another broker purchased my domain and beat me to the punch. And so
Yeah.
now I'm playing, cat and mouse, or how much do you want to buy your domain for? That's another story. I didn't let that stop me. See,
No.
nobody else is going to anywhere else but besides hexandhoney.myshopify.com to purchase my products. You understand? And so I wasn't going to let that stop me. I said to myself, well, I'll still build the brand in the company, and when I have enough money, I'll purchase my domain. As simple as that. I'm not going to deter from my plan and my passion and
Yeah.
allow that to get me down. Even with the challenges with Shopify, like promoting my Shopify has been a challenge for me, via social media, translating the numbers I do on social media over to my website, and
Yeah.
learning the algorithm of when it's a good time to have a sale, when
Yeah.
it's a good time to throw a coupon code out there, when it's a good time to release a new product. And
I have noticed that quite a few of the small businesses that maybe have just started this past year, and I guess they expected more. But I try to explain to people, you have your friends and your close personnel within your circle, your family. They're gonna get tired of buying your shit, right? They're
yeah, and I mean, and let's be honest, like they also have their own, hopefully they have their own passions, et cetera, et cetera. But you're 100% correct about that. I mean, my brother and sister-in-law have bought so much Hex and Honey at this point that they have an entire collection. I am a big believer
You have
that,
to expand. You have to be patient and get your products out there. And word of
strangers
mouth.
are gonna buy. It's like, when you walk into a big box store, do you see the owner, CEO, vice president there chatting you up when you make your purchase? No.
Nope.
You've just grown accustomed to this big box store brand, and it's what you're used to purchasing. So I say cherish the moments actually when your business is on the smaller side and you can have a more hands-on approach to the way that you handle things and the way that you do business with people. And I think that the trick, or the whatever you want to call it, to successfully managing your social media for your business is to simply be genuine,
And
um,
stop complaining.
and stop complaining, because it
You
doesn't
can't
help.
force people to come and buy your stuff
You
by
can't.
saying,
And like, people only spend money when they want to spend money. Are there things? Listen, there's such thing as impulse purchases, but you got to really be logistically realistic about what your numbers are.
yeah,
And you have to know that as a small business, making a lot of money in the first 3 years is not the goal.
no,
It's not the goal.
it's
That's
building your
it. It
brand.
can't. If it is, you're going to want to quit.
Yep,
You're going to
yep.
want to quit.
And don't quit. Don't quit, man. If this is your passion, like there's some things that I am really, really good at, right? And people will tell me, "Hey, Hersh, you need to turn it." No. Because if I turn it into a business, then I'm not gonna like it anymore. That's
Right.
something that I want to do when I want to do it, like drawing. I do murals,
Yes.
I do paintings, I do cleaning. I'm OCD as hell, but I'm not gonna start a cleaning business, right?
That's
But
right.
when it came down to the HERshyt show, when my cousin came and was like, "Hey, you need your own show," I said, "I like to talk shit. Let's go. Let's make it happen." Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my main goal was to free advertise for small businesses, because to me,
Right.
small businesses are the backbone of this country. Always has been. Always will
Absolutely.
be.
Always will be. And if it wasn't for the smaller businesses and the flow of commerce that happens both on the internet and otherwise, it would be detrimental to the
Yeah.
economy.
And you don't
And
you don't have to fight for a patent these days. You don't have to fight and hunt down and travel and go to New York and go to Cali and go to wherever. You
you can
can do it
educate yourself.
by
Yes,
the power of social media.
you can. The internet is a beautiful place. I would just advise, to just do your research, consider your
Yeah.
sources, network with like-minded individuals, both on social media and in real life. Don't miss an opportunity to promote your business or meet and chat up another small business owner. Some of the best ideas I've had have come from those types of conversations.
Yeah.
And again, I want to reiterate: don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to take chances. You're going to miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah. And stay away from negative Nancy's, man.
And stay away from the negative energy. Stay positive about it. And listen, we're human, so if we get an attitude or we're having a bad day, take a break from the socials.
Yep.
Go have yourself a cup of coffee with a friend or something.
And
Regroup, because
block
block them.
block them. You can ban people. You have the power on your page to
To
politely hit
control how you want things
ban.
done on your page. Exactly. I 100% agree. I think that you just want to make sure that your content is engaging, your attitude is engaging, and that you're speaking to people. If this is, especially if you have a brand and you have a product to offer that you want people to buy, you want to treat people how you want to be treated. Like,
Yeah.
everybody out here is working hard. Like, we
Yeah.
are not rolling in dough. None of us. There's a few of them, but they're not checking for us. So when I purchase from small companies, I look for things like quality, ethically sourced, like what are some of the things that I want in a company, but I also look at the I look from the perspective of the business owner as well. And I think that it's important to have a positive attitude.
Yeah.
You have to, in order to navigate through this, you have to be able to block out the negative and
Yeah.
focus on the positive.
Or use that negative, I say it all the time, use that negative energy and turn it into a positive outcome.
That's right.
Because somebody might get you so aggravated and tell you, well, your product ain't shit, right? So somebody comes and tells you that because they're just being negative for no reason, right? And that's one person out of billions of people on this earth.
That haven't even tried it or heard of it or anything.
So you use that energy and just outshine them. Use that and do it for you. Don't do it for that one person. There again,
right.
Billions of people on this earth. You can sell your products and just stop cutting yourself out of the deal too, because
Pay yourself.
A lot of creators will get frustrated because their sales are low. Like people that make earrings or people that make crafts, they get upset about their sales being low that they start throwing up so many discounts to where they're not bringing anything back in for their position, right? I'm spending 20, and a lot of people don't
and
do the
sometimes
inventory.
They're underpricing themselves. So
the inventory.
Yeah.
Logistically, you have to do your price checks. And coming from a logistics background, you need to have your inventory. Why are you spending
prices per unit? You need to know what your profit is on each one.
And do the math. It's basic math. It's not calculus. It's not Common Core. It's basic math. If I'm spending $200 and I'm only bringing in 75 back, then baby, you need to start making to order versus trying to have a stock shelf. Don't overdo it.
And to be honest, I learned that lesson very, very early on. When I first started, I only had a couple of scents that I was working with and just a handful of products. And so I learned very quickly that I was making too much at one time. I was learning, there are a few things that, like for instance, you have to know what's important and what's not important.
You have to look at your quarterly sales, like quarterly.
That's right. And you have to be able to project. And you have to be able to understand that there are going to be little pockets, that there's an algorithm to that as well. There are little pockets around the first of the month, little pockets towards the middle of the month where you might want to push a sale. In my case, with my packaging, for instance, I glass packaging, that was my thing. I said, well, I'll try some smaller plastic jars. Hated them. I said, this doesn't fit my aesthetic. I want sustainable packaging, stuff people can reuse and recycle. There are some things you don't compromise on. Those are the baseline things that identify you as a company and a brand. But don't waste products. Get it down to as close to the penny as you can. And then I would also say promoting and knowing how to promote what you're doing. Because again, like my lane is saturated. I mean, I can list easily 10 companies off the top of my head that sell sugar scrubs and body butters, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really identifying what it is that makes your company, and just really focusing and sticking to that. Being receptive to constructive criticism or mistakes and turning those into learning opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's what it means to have a positive attitude about things.
Yeah, because shit's gonna happen. Things are gonna go awry. Right. And there's some things that are out of your hands, and it's totally up to you. But one more time, Hex and Honey, Miss Kilisha.
Yep. myshopify.com. Come see me. Please.
Like, follow, and share on Facebook and Instagram.
My Instagram is Hex and Honey, which is HEXNHONEY.
Which is also her Gmail.
Which is also my Gmail. So reach out. I'm not opposed to doing custom orders or special requests. I've done plenty before. And yeah, like I can't wait. I want to make everybody's fresh goodies for Christmas. So
Hey, stocking stuffers, and
stocking stuffers. I can't wait for you guys to see the cute little bundles that I've got put together for you guys for Christmas.
and within the next few weeks, an episode or clip will come out, and I
I
finally get
can't
to
wait.
open
I
my.
so can't wait. I can't
I
wait.
cannot wait. But it has been amazing speaking with you, my dear.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you for giving the small business owners a little tippy tip from the inside.
Absolutely. I mean, we got to share with each other. We got to sustain each other.
Yes, ma'am. And on that note, until next time, this is the HERshyt Show. Bye.
Bye.
Be sure to log on to youtube.com and subscribe to the HERshyt Show at TheRShytShow.